Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Testing Tricks. Today I would like to discuss about few software testing interview questions and answers. Okay, so let's start the discussion. First question is what is testing and why it is needed in software industry. So testing is a technique by which we can make sure the quality of the product. Okay, so that is the definition of the testing. Why it is needed in software industry? Without testing, if you want to release the product, you can do that. But in that case, if customer will get any defects, in that case, they will not be happy. So what will happen? Your company will not get any business from the next time. Okay. So testing is very much needed to make sure all the functionalities are working fine. Also, it has the good quality. Then only you will get more business from the customer. Okay. So that is the importance of the testing. Second question is please explain about different types of testing. So different types of testing means there are two types of testing, functional testing and non-functional testing. Okay. Under non-functional testing, you know, stress testing, for performance testing, load testing, those will be coming. Under functional testing, white box, black box, gray box, those testings will be coming under functional testing. Okay. Coming to the next question. What is defect and explain about the defect life cycle. So defect means something which is not working as expected. You are expecting 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, but you are getting 4. That means it is a defect. So something which is not working as expected, that is meaning that means it is a defect. Okay. So what is the defect life cycle? Suppose today you got a new defect and you are logging that particular defect in your tool. So once you uh, create the defect, in that case your first state will be new state. Okay, second state would be active state. That means developer started fixing that particular defect, so then they are changing the state from new to active. Now they have fixed it, the defect, so in that case they will change the state from active to resolve, and after resolve it will come to software tester. That particular tester will test that particular defect. If it is working as expected, they can change the status from resolved to closed. If it is not working as expected, they can reopen it. So these are the major uh, like state or life cycle we are following in our organization. Okay, so it might vary in your organization. Okay, so in our case, it will be new, active, resolve, close, and reopen. Okay, those are the state we are following. Okay. Now coming to the next question. Tell me the difference between requirement traceability matrix and test matrix. So requirement traceability matrix means once you get the requirements from the customer, for those requirements, you have to write the test cases, right? So we have to check whether all the test cases we have written or not for all the requirements. So all the requirement should map with the different test cases. It has to be one-to-one mapping or one-to-many mapping. For one requirement, you can write multiple test cases or you can write single test cases. So with the requirement traceability matrix, you are just checking whether all the requirements are covered or not. Okay, and the test cases are available or not for all the requirements. So that is the requirement traceability matrix. But test matrix is it's a overall status about your productivity, quality, how much effort you have given, how many test cases you have passed, how many failed, how much percentage test case has been passed, how much the failure percentage of your test cases. Okay, uh, so it's a overall quality and productivity we are measuring inside a test matrix. It's an entire document where we are capturing everything. Okay, so that is the difference between requirement traceability matrix and test matrix. Now coming to the next question, what is user story? So user story is nothing but a user requirements. the requirements which you are getting from the customer side or end user. So that is particular requirement we are writing in high level in the form of user story. Okay, okay. So coming to the next question, difference between test scenario and test case. Suppose test scenario means you want to test Gmail functionality. Okay, but how to do the Gmail functionality? You don't know, right? So what to test? That will be coming under test scenario part. How to test? That will be coming under test cases. So for that, you have to write action and expected result, right? So how part is the test scenario? Sorry, how part is test case and what part is test scenario? Okay, that is the difference between test scenario and test case. So you know that you have to do Gmail functionality. So that is the test scenario. But how to do? That one will be coming under test case. Okay. Now coming to the next question. Why automation is needed? Obviously to reduce the manual effort. That's why automation is required. So next question would be tell me the difference between smoke testing and sanity testing. So as you know, smoke testing means it is a testing where we are checking the critical functionality. Okay. And sanity testing means suppose you have raised one defect in your last build. Okay. So now developer has fixed it. Now they have released a new build. On that particular build, you have to check whether that particular defect is working fine or not. And also some of the basic functionality also you can check inside a sanity testing. So inside a sanity testing, you are checking the defect whether it is fixed or not. Along with that, you are checking the basic functionalities. But in smoke testing, you are actually checking the critical functionality part. Okay, so that is the difference between smoke testing and sanity testing. Coming to the next question, what do you know about regression testing? So regression testing is a testing where you are checking whether the existing functionalities are working fine or not. Okay, because sometimes developer has fixed one of the defect, but 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 they have not checked the proper uh, impacted areas or other modules. So once they're fixing it, some other modules are also broken. Okay, so as a tester, this is our responsibility. We have to check whether all the other modules or existing modules functionalities are still working fine or not. So that is the activity you have to do under regression testing. Okay. Now coming to the next question, can you please explain about verification and validation process? So verification process is related to software development. Okay. So when developer is implementing the software product, so that time this verification stage is coming. Okay. Now software development has been implemented, has been developed. After that, we can start the testing part, right? So that is the process we can say validation process. So validation process is coming after software development, but verification process is coming at the time of software development. Okay. So that is the basic difference between verification and validation. Coming to the next question, what is the difference between regression testing and retesting? So as you know, regression testing means we are checking whether existing functionalities are working fine or not. But retesting means suppose you have raised a defect and that defect they have fixed it, that particular defect you have to retest in the next build, right? So just you have to verify whether it is working fine or not, the defect which you have raised. Okay. So that is the activity you have to do under retesting. And regression testing, as you know, we are checking the existing functionalities are working fine or not. So that is the difference between regression testing and retesting. Now coming to the next question, what is defect triage state? Suppose you have raised a defect, okay, and they are saying we have to discuss this with our internal team. We are expecting that maybe it's not a defect. Developer is saying it's not a defect. As a tester, you are saying it is a defect, but developer is not accepting it. So they're saying it is as design behavior. It's a software product behavior is like that only. So it's not a defect actually. So for that, what you have to do, what developer has to do, developer is discussing internally with other developers before fixing the defect. Okay. So This stage we can say it is a triage stage. Triage state means it's a discussion stage. Means before fixing that particular defect, they're discussing internally with the other developers whether they want to fix it or not, or it is a as design behavior. Okay, so this state we are saying as a defect triage state. Coming to the next question, what is story point? So story point is we are defining as a number of hours into number of days. Okay, that means suppose today you got one user story in this sprint and you have decided, you have already discussed with your team members and your test lead that it will take around 4 days. So each and every days we are considering with 8 hours. So if it is taking 4 hours, sorry, 4 days, then 4 days into 8 hours means 32 story point. So we can define for that particular user story as a 32 story point because we know it will take around 4 days to complete. So 4 days into 8 hours means 32 story point. That means within 4 days we'll complete this entire user story. So story point is number of hours into number of days. Okay. Now coming to the next question. When you will start system testing? Obviously, system testing will be coming after unit integration testing. Okay, then we can start our system testing, and it's also known as end-to-end testing. Okay, so when we will start system testing? After unit testing, after integration testing, we can start system testing. Coming to the next question, what is agile? So agile is a methodology, okay, where development and testing team are working parallelly, okay, so that we can collaborate and enhance the process and meet the target on time. So developer will start the development part at the time of uh, and that time testing team will start writing the test cases. They will set up the test environment. So everything will be happening parallelly, so that we can collaborate with development team and we can start the testing process and we can release on time. So it's a methodology. So it is a continuous improvement process. Okay, that is the definition you have to tell. Coming to the next question, what do you know about product backlog and sprint backlog? Suppose you got 300 requirements from the customer for your release. So this entire 300 uh, requirements, you are keeping it inside a product backlog. So product backlog is nothing but a entire requirements from the customer side. But what is sprint backlog? Out of 300, you have decided that these are the 30 uh, backlog items you have to prioritize. Means those are the top most prioritize list or user story you have to target first in this first sprint. So in that case, what you'll do, those 30 topmost priority user story, you are picking it from product backlog and you are pasting it in your sprint backlog. So sprint backlog means topmost priority user story you have to target inside a sprint backlog. But product backlog means it is a entire customer requirements. Enter all the user stories will be there or will be stored inside a product backlog. But in sprint backlog, you have to focus only the topmost priority user stories. Okay, on that particular sprint. Suppose out of 300, you have targeted 30 uh, feature or user story you are targeting. So those particular requirements or 30 requirements or user story, you are keeping it inside a sprint backlog. So that is the difference between sprint backlog and product backlog. Okay. Now coming to the next question, what are the test labels in software testing? Test labels means unit testing, system testing, integration testing. Those are the test labels in software testing. Okay. Now coming to the next question, what is test plan and what does it contain? So test plan is a one of the document before starting a project. So customer will discuss with your project team members, means project manager and your team lead, that these are the like activity you have to do. Okay, so entire activity you have to capture inside a test plan, which will contain entry criteria, exit criteria, how many resource will work, okay, which tool you will use, okay, if you raise any defect in that case, where you have to raise that defect, okay, and also how much time it will take to release your project, means estimation part, okay. So everything will capture inside a test plan. So this is the document where we're capturing everything: entry criteria, exit criteria, resource plan, tools. If you want to apply automation or performance testing, everything you have to mention inside a test plan. Okay. Now coming to the next question, tell me the difference between test plan and test strategy. You know, test plan is an entire document where you're capturing everything. But test strategy means it is related to testing part. Means suppose you want to perform uh, sanity testing or smoke testing or automation or performance. So those are the testing strategy. Okay, how we want to achieve that particular uh, project timeline. Okay, and what would be your testing approach you have to apply. Like if you want to execute automation suite, then you can form an automation team. If you want to execute sanity and smoke manual test cases, for that you have to uh, create separate suite for that. Okay, so everything will be coming under test strategy. Okay, now coming to the next question, what is the difference between quality assurance and quality control? So quality assurance means it's a process oriented, means what are the daily activities you are doing in your testing. So everything will be coming under quality assurance part. Okay, it's more about process oriented. What are the process you are following uh, in your day-to-day activities? Means smoke testing, sanit testing, test case writing, test case execution, defect log, everything will be coming under quality assurance part. But quality control will be defined by the customer side. Once you release the particular product, uh, how it is, how good product you have developed, that will be defined by the customer. So quality control will be identified by the or will be defined by the customer side. But quality assurance means it is a related to our day-to-day activities. It's a part of our process which we are following every day. But quality control will be defined by the customer. Customer whether customer is happy or not. So that will they can decide after uh, all the testing has been completed from their side. Then they can say is it a good quality of product or bad quality of product. So that's why quality control is always related to customer. Okay. Now coming to the next question, what is the difference between defect and failure? So defect means the something which is not working as expected. Okay. Now you have mm, tested all the functionalities, but some of the functionalities you have missed, and those particular functionalities uh, will not work in your particular UAT environment. Okay, and customer found those particular problems. Okay, so in that case, when customer is finding any defect or customer is saying that it is a major miss from the testing team, so in that case, we can say it is a failure. Okay, so something is not working as expected, then it is a defect. But failure is means when customer is getting any major defect in their environment, and then it is a major failure from our side. So that is the difference between defect and failure. Okay. Now coming to the next question, what is preventative approach and reactive approach? So preventative approach means at the time of software development, you are writing the test cases and some test scenarios, and that particular test scenarios you are sharing with the development team so that they can also understand these are the positive and negative scenarios you have written, and we are going to test these particular scenarios. Okay, so that they can also uh, build the software product on that basis, and also they can do a proper unit testing also. Okay, so this preventative approach is useful because if they'll focus on all of those things, then in that case we'll get very less defect at the time of testing, and we can easily release the particular sprint, or you can release the project on time if you follow this preventative approach. Okay, so at the time of development we are sharing all of those part. Okay, so that is what we are saying preventative approach. But reactive approach means software development has been done. Now we will start our testing process. So we are not sharing anything with test scenario or test cases. We are not sharing now. Once developer has been completed their development process, then we'll start our main testing process. Okay, so that is the phase we can say it is a reactive approach. We are not sharing anything. So we'll start testing the product once development has been completed. Then this stage we can say it is a reactive approach. But when at the time of development stage, when we are sharing everything to them so that they can also develop their product on that basis, also they can do proper unit testing. So then that time you can say it is a preventative approach. Okay. Now coming to the next question, drawback of manual testing. You know, the drawback of manual testing is it is a very time consuming process and also it is very expensive. Okay, these are the drawbacks. Coming to the next question, what is defect age? So defect age means suppose today you have raised a defect and after 10 days they are able to fix it. Okay, so in that case you can say the defect age is 10 for that particular defect. So 10 days you can say as a defect age because today I have raised but they are not able to fix it and they are fixing it after 9 days. Okay, so 10th day they are fixing your defect. Okay, and that time you are testing it and you are saying no, it is working as expected now. So when you have raised and when they are fixing it, in between time we can say it is a defect age. So in this case, defect age is 10 days. Okay, yeah, so that is all from my side today. Thank you.